Hello, Zeb here. Today we're ranking the band Supertramp. Let's count here. Their 11th worst, the very worst album. Most fans agree with me. It is Free as a Bird. The main problem I got with this album is the production and the drum sound programmed. The production and synth choices are horrible, but there are some good songs on this album. Worth noting is It's Alright. It is a good song. Not a Moment. It's okay. And there's the title cut, Free as a Bird. It is a good song, very good song. And I also like I'm Begging You. So not a total waste of musical talent. But yes, it is the worst album. Next we have this one, Some Things Never Change. It is also quite a good album. They hadn't released an album in 10 years. And they went back to the blues. It's not like indelibly stamped blues, but it's blues. But you can hear it's Supertramp. And even the Roger Hodgson imitator sings a couple of songs. So it's a valid, it's an okay album. Songs worth mentioning: It's a Hard World. It's a good song. You Win, I Lose. It's an okay song. Some Things Never Change. It's an alright song. Listen to Me Please. It's okay. Sooner or Later. It's okay. And the best song on the album, And the Lights. So that's my second worst Supertramp. Third worst, I haven't found it anywhere. Slow Motion from 2002. Sadly, their latest album released. Not counting archival releases, re-releases, and live albums. And yes, we're up to their 8th worst. It's Famous Last Word. Their last album with Mr. Roger Hodgson, which could have been so much better because they had a lot of material around this time. Some of it ended up on Brother Were You Bound, and some of it ended up on Roger Hodgson's debut solo album. It's very commercial Supertramp, which the people seems to love. I'm not the biggest fan of the very commercial stuff. Best songs, Crazy. It's a good song. Put on Your Old Brown Shoes. It's very good. It's Raining Again. I'm not a fan. Bonnie, not a big fan. Know Who You Are. It's a good song. My Kind of Lady. It's okay. Celeban. It's a very good song. Waiting So Long. It's an alright song. And Don't Leave Me Now, the best song on this album, and a fitting statement for Roger Hodgson, who left after this album. Yeah. 7th worst album. Many people's favorite album. It is very commercial. We all know this album, don't we? This is the deluxe edition. And it's probably the reason why I own it, because I rarely play the original album. I never need to hear songs like Gone Hollywood, The Logical Song, Goodbye Stranger, Breakfast in America, Oh Darling, Take the Long Way Home. First 6 songs, singles and hits. I never need to hear those again. Never. Some great pictures here. The Umbrella Club, 1979. Yeah, it's not a bad album. It's a good album, but it's not for me a very good album. It's very overproduced, to be honest. Very, and that's the reason it became such a massive success. And here, the drummer Bob Siebenberg, he looks exactly like Dennis Wilson from the Beach Boys. Look, here, you see the resemblance? Anyway, let's move on. Gone Hollywood, yes, it's good, but I never need to hear it again. Logical Song, not my cup of tea. It's not bad, but it's not good. Goodbye Stranger, I don't like it. The verse are good, but there's too much falsetto vocals overall on this album. For my for my personal taste. Well, Roger Hodgson, he can't help it. He sings very high, but suddenly Richard Davis started singing everything in falsetto, and he used to sing very low and bluesy, and then suddenly a lot of falsetto. So a little unnatural. Breakfast in America, overproduced, overplayed. The song is raped by radio. I've heard the first version of this done by Roger Hodgson when he were 16 or 17 years old. It's a fun listen. Very, very fun listen. Oh, darling. Pointless song. Not good, not bad. Take the Long Way Home. Overplayed, but yes, it's a very good song. One of the best of the hits on this album. Lord, Is It Mine? It's okay, it's alright. Just Another Nervous Wreck. It's an okay song. Casual Conversation. A total pointless throwaway song, to be honest. They have a couple of throwaways. Lord of Vision, the best song on the entire album. And on this bonus disc, they have some songs not featured on the Paris live album or other versions. I won't go through any of the details, but this one was very nice to get. Again, the reason why I bought the deluxe edition. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth best album. It's indelibly stamped. Any non-English speaker or people who isn't English or American will have a problem pronouncing this. I've heard others trying to pronounce it. Just as good as me. Great picture. Their second album, and they weren't popular at all in the beginning. Took them 2 albums, a single, and some outtakes. You can see here Frank Farrell, he left after this album. Kevin Curry left after this album. Dave Winthrop left after this album, and all of these three, they weren't on the first album. So they had a different lineup on the first two albums before they made it big. Alright, fifth best Supertramp album. Highly underrated, Brother Where You Bound. Their first album without Roger Hodgson. And it's a very good album. One thing I always noticed, if you remember Genesis, The Way We Walk, the volume, I think volume 2, take a look at that and take a look at Brother Where You Bound. Genesis, those thieves. Let's see, why is this their fifth best album? Well, because Richard Davies had total control for the first time. Cannonball, the hit on the album, fantastic. You don't miss Roger Hodgson. They even imitate him, saying, "Yeah, like a cannonball." You don't miss him at all. Still in Love, it's okay. Very bluesy. I'd say an okay song. No In Between, a perfect Supertramp 80s tune. Not so dated. Better Days, their second single, maybe a little dated, but I like it. And the big 17-minute Brother Where You Bound, a masterpiece. This song and Fool's Overture and all of Crime of the Century, it is in my top 10 ever Supertramp. And they end with a lovely song, a vocal and piano only, Ever Open Door. I wonder if this were written to Roger Hodgson, because they have been trying for years to get Roger Hodgson and Rick Davies together. Sadly, Rick Davies' wife and manager stops it every time. But hey, Hodgson were the asshole who left, so okay. I'm glad we got all of these albums and solo albums. Yes, my fourth place. It is Crisis, What Crisis? And you all know it's a classic. Capital letters. Why is it my fourth best album? Easy Does It. Beautiful, short opener. It kind of reminds me of the Beatles' Two of Us. It got that vibe. It seeks into Sister Moonshine. Maybe a little whiny vocals by Roger Hodgson, but it's a beautiful song. It's perfectly arranged. It's played very professional. But some of the vocals, it's a little hit and miss. But it's a good song. Ain't Nobody But Me, fantastic Davis tune. Great song. A soapbox opera. It is okay. Some love it. Some think it's okay. I have no problem playing this album from start to finish. Another Man's Woman is a really funky Davis workout. It's very good. Lady, I believe this were the single Roger Hodgson tune. It is excellent. It's very good. Incredibly good production and tons of percussion. Poor Boy, a tune nobody mentions. It's a very good song. More laid back. And this sad song, Just a Normal Day. It is very, very good. If you know what the meaning is, It's probably one of my favorites on this album. And they have a song called Two of Us. Again, I get this Beatles Two of Us feeling from the opener and the closer on this album. Probably inspired by Beatles. This album were to include a tune called Land Ho, recorded in 1973. It were even remixed. It didn't end up on the album, but they managed to release both Land Ho and the B-side Summer Romance on their double compilation called what was it called again? Retrospective. All right, top 3 Supertramp. Yes, their debut. One of the Supertramp albums I bought the first. I had heard the hits. I had borrowed a couple of cassettes. And I also borrowed this one on cassette. And I played it the entire summer when I was about 9 or 10 years old. It is a masterpiece. Why is it a masterpiece? Well, not only because they got Richard Palmer James from King Crimson on electric guitar, acoustic guitar, balalaika and vocals. Not because they got Robert Miller on percussion and harmonica and drums. Not because Roger Hodgson was such a cutie patootie back in the days. Not because Rick Davies got all his money from Sam, who sponsored them before they became famous. Here's a great little opening. Surely there's a way I could please you. Only in your past lies the tears. Surely there's a day you can say went your way. Some illusion you can keep through the years. Only if I lied could I love you. Nothing of our lives could we share. Only could we try to get by on a sigh. Just because, just this once, I was there. And why again, as I said, is it the third best album? Well, surely, as I quoted, It's a Long Road. Take a listen to It's a Long Road. Oh man. All bored, and I'm not like other birds of prey. It's a little sad song, but very good. Words unspoken. It's fantastic. Maybe I'm a Beggar. Probably the low point on this album. But it got tons of flute and tons of interesting instruments, so it's a good song. Home Again, a beautiful, short little song. Nothing to Show, again in my top 10 songs. Take a listen to Nothing to Show and It's a Long Road. Shadow Song, a beautiful ballad. Try Again, a 12-minute progressive rock freak out. Again, top 10 material. And they end with the full version of Shirley, which is fantastic. That's why I feel this deserves the third best. And then, second place, Even in the Quietest Moments. A fantastic album after the very hastily done Crisis, What Crisis, due to the commercial brain farts. They became so popular, so they had to get back in the recording sessions at once. Give a little bit. I've loved that tune too many years. Sick and tired of it, but yes, it is a classic. It is a masterpiece. Loverboy. I just read a post on the Hoffman forum where this tune were at the bottom. It's a lovely song from Rick Davis. Then even in the quietest moments, it's a very atmospheric Roger Hodgson composition. It's very good, but it's very low key. Downstream, this one also is in my top 10 songs. A beautiful ballad by Rick Davis. Very sparse, opens with vocals and piano, and it's very low key. Then we have this freaky Roger Hodgson song called Babaji, which always freaked me out when I was a child. It's insane. It's good. It's very good. Take a listen to it in headphones. There are a lot to discover. It's a cool little picture. Bob Siebenberg, Roger Hodgson, Rick Davis, and the rest of the Jesus. From now on, a beautiful gospel blues rocker by Rick Davis. It is fantastic. It's not in my top 10, but it's a very good song. And the album ends with one of their very, very best songs. If you don't like Fool's Overture by Supertramp, I'm sorry, you're not a fan. Ask any hardcore fan what is their best songs. Well, some points to the hits, but if you dismiss the hits, you're back with some fantastic deep cuts. And number one, of course, Supertramp, Crime of the Century, the 74 masterpiece, 2 CD set with the Live at the Hammersmith 1975. Of course, it is their best album. They had released, as I said, 2 albums and a single, and they rehearsed a year with this new lineup, and they got it right. They finally got it right. Well, I love the first 2 albums, yes, but here everything fits. 1974, the world have received the Dark Side of the Moon. They have received a lot of good Beatles albums. So 1974, the world was finally ready for Supertramp. Strange, isn't it? As I think the debut Supertramp album is nearly as good as this, if a little more hippy-dippy. Here they're a little more mature. And yes, why is this my number one? Well, I'll tell you. Just look through here. School. What is there to say? If you haven't heard this song, do me a favor, play it now. Wow. I can never get tired of this song. It's a fantastic opener, and Roger Hodgson still plays it today. Bloody Well Right, Rick Davis, one of his masterpieces. It's been played on every tour Supertramp have done. Hide in a Shell, it's an okay introvert Roger Hodgson song. It is very good. Asylum, again another Rick Davis masterpiece. This one is a little sleazy. Dreamer, another Roger Hodgson pop gem, a pearl of a song. If I'm a little tired of it, doesn't matter, it's a masterpiece. Rudy, another Rick Davies masterpiece. Strangely, on this album, I prefer Rick Davies' songs more than Roger Hodgson. But they both were equally important. They had a yin and a yang, which were unique, like the Beatles. If everyone was listening, it's a fantastic, beautiful wake-up call from Roger Hodgson. It's a masterpiece, and it ends with the big song "Crime of the Century," which I think is in every Supertramp fan's top 10 or top 15 or so. And this one sounds incredibly good. I've had many pressings on vinyl and on CD. It sounds amazing. I think it even beats the MFSL CD that I've had and sold. Got some good money. And the Hammersmith Odeon concert. It was formally released as an semi-official album called Live Ohio 1976, which is wrong. It is from Hammersmith Odeon, March the 9th, 1975. And if you see the track list here, they performed the complete Crime of the Century, and I believe almost every song from the forthcoming Crisis What Crisis. So what a dream set list. Now they only need to give us the Live 77